Do you watch Fox News with your finger on the back button in case someone enters the room?
Nope.
Do you methodically clear your browser history to erase all evidence of Prageru videos?
Nah, I only do that with hentai.
Do you hide your subscription to the Ben Shapiro podcast?
Hell no. I like watching him getting roasted by a BBC.
Or, and perhaps most dangerous of all, are you afraid of getting caught watching the Rubin Report, which is hosted by the very scary but quite dapper Dave Rubin?
Scary? You scary? As Dennis Prager called you, you're a useful idiot. That's what you are. And besides, watching your interviews is hilarious.
If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you're in the political closet and it's time to come out.
I'm in the political closet? Well, nope. Well, I'm sure you're in a different kind of closet, though. Well, it's time for you to come out.
Here's the good news. If you currently reside in the United States of America, you live in the freest country in the history of the world.
Yeah, you mean right now we have the worst coronavirus to spawn on the planet?
Beyond some basic limitations, you can do whatever you want and, with hard work, become whatever it is you want to be.
Oh yeah, freedom. Patriot Act. Yeah, sure.
Pretty great, ain't it? So why the long face?
Patriot Act. Spying, NSA, yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Because you know that something is out of whack.
You mean with nepotism you can become whatever you want to be? Or be called a former bartender if you don't happen to have nepotism as a safety net or hedge funding as a safety net? So you get mocked by wherever you were working when you were a college student or worse. If somehow you didn't even pick up a grueling job when you're in college, you get mocked for carrying so much debt and be blamed for not having rich parents to pay off that debt for you. Yeah, that. Oh yes, something is out of whack.
You really don't feel free to say what you want, or share your true thoughts on Facebook, or even associate with those you'd like to.
Oh, I feel safe to say what I want, alright? But you feel as though you're right to say some outrageous nonsense that go against human rights, that just straight up bigotry is being infringed upon. And that's not rights, but that's called idiocracy. Share your true thoughts on Facebook? Bro, have you looked at the 2016 election? Just watch the Facebook dilemma, bro, and tell me about Facebook silencing ideas. Spoiler alert, the opposite.
Why is that? I'll tell you why. Because there's a mass affliction spreading throughout the Western world. It's called the Bravery deficit. People, good people like you, are afraid to say what they think.
Oh, I'm a good person, but I'm not afraid to say what I think. So how am I a good person if I'm afraid to say what I think? Rubin paradox, everybody.
And there's little wonder. Believe that men can't give birth? Congrats, you're a transphobe.
What is the man? A miserable pile of secrets?
Want people to keep more of what they earn because they know how to spend it better than the government does? Bravo, you're a greedy capitalist. Understand that the gender pay gap is because men and women often choose different professions and different hours, not because of rampant sexism? Hooray, you're a misogynist.
Well, you like how the government spends it as long as it's about blowing up brown kids in the Middle East. But if it's about the government spending money on education and healthcare, suddenly you don't like that, don't you? Alright, now this is a topic that has been talked about to death, and it's a complicated topic. Basically this. Women haven't been in all types of occupations for very long, so the oldest employees in certain sectors such as medicine tend to be male, and since they've been in the industry for that long, they tend to have higher pay rates. Meanwhile, when you want to compare the same occupation for the same age range, you'd find that it's actually close, the pay range between male and female workers. But when you want to compare as a whole, it's because that men have been in that industry for much longer than women started entering it, and that's how you see this illusion of a wage gap.
Take the wrong side of any hot button issue and your reputation, your friends, and your job can all be lost in an instant. You will likely never get a chance to confront your accusers, most of whom are anonymous. And you may feel forced to issue a faux apology to save yourself, which, by the way, it usually won't.
All right, now addressing the topic of what is now called cancel culture, yes, it's true, it exists, it's awful, but don't pretend that your side of the argument doesn't practice it as well. Actually, the best thing to do is not say an apology video, as YouTube has proven. The best thing to do is just to let it sit out, wait a couple of months, and then move on, and people will move on. The best thing about ending an argument is probably not putting more fuel to it, which is why these apology videos get downvoted. Not because people were expecting a sincere apology, it's because the apologies are always fake and people will just prefer people moving on than adding more fuel to the same argument.
The understandable temptation is to think that this politically correct madness will soon end, just die out on its own. Well, it won't. Activists and their mainstream media allies like the New York Times and CNN, propaganda outlets like Media Matters and the Southern Poverty Law Center, and your local university.
That's cute. So now the New York Times is a propaganda outlet. Universities are not propaganda outlets. Do you know how it's very easy to differentiate between what's a propaganda outlet and what's not? Citations. Beautiful, beautiful citations. Citing your work, citing your research, proving how you got to the points that you got. And here at Prageru channel, if you scroll down at any video in Prageru, you will find that there's never any citations. They just say all that nonsense. They could just be pulling it out of their asses and they have no proof from where they got that talk from. But yeah, according to you, New York Times is fake news and universities teach fake news. I guess for you, real news comes from Fox News and your local evangelical church.
We'll make sure of that. Big tech, with its control of search algorithms, its shadow banning and deboosting, are also in on the game. If you're one of the people who believes that if you just remain quiet, that things will get better, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're a frog in a slowly boiling pot.
Funny how you're stealing the analogy by Al Gore about climate change and you're turning it towards your conservative agenda. Al Gore used this analogy of a frog in a slowly boiling pot to counter against climate change denialists, of how they just say, well, so what if the weather's warming, and how we don't know that you're basically being cooked up alive until it's too late. Yeah, nice spinning, a very good narrative towards something that just makes no sense at all.
And it doesn't end well for the frog. So what can you do? Believe it or not, the solution is not that hard. Step 1, think for yourself. Step 2, say it out loud.
Oh yeah, to each their own, the epic conservative mentality. Yeah, to each their own. Everybody can go die from the coronavirus. I have to go get my hair coat. I have to go get my tan. I have to go get my tattoo. I need to get my nails done. I don't care if everybody dies from the coronavirus. That's their fault for being poor. Oh wait, I can't go to the hospital because I don't have insurance? I would most have wanted it to happen to me. Like how you all are screeching and attacking government buildings with guns and tactical outfits, screaming and sending death threats to governors so they can reopen up states so you can go to the barber shop. Grow some spine, man.
Former bartender says the world is going to end in 12 years because of climate change doesn't mean it's true. Doomsdayers have been saying the same thing for decades, and we're still here.
Former bartender. Really, man. Really. Your language is just outstanding. Oh, you couldn't go to college smoothly because you don't have rich parents and you had to work as a bartender to make ends meet as you study. You worked to go to college. My parents, they worked to go to college too. And they also worked in bars and restaurants to go to college too. But hey, they cheated their way through their jobs later on after they graduated college for dirt cheap. And now they find it pathetic for anybody who works low-wage jobs while they go to school. No, you must have rich mommy and daddies to be able to pay every single penny of your school tuition. Otherwise, you're a loser. Doomsdayers for climate change? Buddy, there's irrefutable evidence of climate change. Heck, even the coronavirus pandemic itself, the lockdown proves that we are having a tremendous negative impact on the environment. Meanwhile, you doomsdayers are going around spreading some bizarre conspiracy theories like 5G towers are the cause of the virus and that Bill Gates is trying to dominate the world. Come on, man.
Just because a filmmaker says we should model our healthcare system on Cuba's doesn't mean it's a good idea. Would you rather have heart surgery in Houston or in Havana?
I'd rather a heart surgery that I can actually get. Not go to the hospital and then be rejected because I don't have insurance, or go to the hospital, get accepted, and wake up from a heart surgery and see that I have $1 million medical debt and then get a second heart attack from just reading that paper.
And just because a career politician is a millionaire with 3 houses who rails against the rich doesn't make him a hypocrite. Oh wait, in that case it actually does.
Career politician who is a millionaire? Let's just say this. Bernie Sanders didn't actually become a millionaire until very recently, and that's not from quote-unquote career politician. That's from the books he wrote. Okay, he wrote good books, people liked it, they bought. He did not make millions of dollars off of being a politician. If anything, he was living barely ends meet most of his life because all he cared about is spreading democratic socialist policies and awareness, and he has had the biggest and longest consistency of any politician in the US. And the 3 houses thing, yeah. Ever heard of something called multi-generational living, bud? And if you want to talk about owning multiple houses, take no further from your beloved heroes such as Donald Trump and Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. I mean, who the hell needs 25 bathrooms in a mansion? And who the hell needs everything to be plated with gold in their apartment? No sane person, that's for sure.
The point is, perhaps your most important job as a human being is to stand up for the things you believe in. Don't take the path of least resistance. Be better than those who would silence you, deplatform you, and mob you.
I'm gonna stand up for the things I believe in. I'm gonna stand up for the fact that so many crazes out there are storming governmental buildings, are going about cussing at nurses and doctors for doing their job, shooting security guards for telling them to wear face masks. Yeah, I'm gonna stand up against that insanity.
How? Just stop being afraid. The mob depends on the fact that everyone is scared to say what they think. Don't give them that power. All of the successes of America and the Western values that gave birth to America are being eroded as we speak. We can't just blame Hollywood, the media, and the political establishment any longer. It's time to look in the mirror. Think of the bravery of your grandparents and your ancestors before them who undoubtedly had it far worse than you do today.
You mean, from your perspective, someone telling you that you should make sacrifices because you can't make any sacrifices, you're too damn selfish to do that? Ho ho ho. You're comparing the greatest generation and what they went through during the Great Depression against what you conservatives are going through now. They went through hell, and they were solemn. They were going to war while starving, and they were solemn. They were dying on their way to getting a job just to make ends meet, and they were still solemn. And by the way, they were uplifted from that situation by a democratic socialist that established social security. Just saying.
If they were brave, then you can be brave too. It's time to come out of the closet, the political one. You are the solution to the bravery deficit. So what are you waiting for?
Yes, you can be brave too, and make sacrifices, such as staying home instead of nagging that you want a haircut.
I'm Dave Rubin, author of Don't Burn This Book, Thinking for Yourself in an Age of Unreason, for Prageru University.
Prageru University strikes again with talking about how to be brave while forgetting just how much of cowards they are, inciting hatred, inciting bigotry, and most of all, inciting the idea that the rest of the world is against them, their own country is against them, the government's against them, everything's against them. Yeah, bud, get a reality check.